I think I prefer the comedy here to come from the angle of the ascension bit, which is this really dark, twisted spin on a Star Trek thing where he's ascending and it's painful, and he sees like bizarre, surreal stuff that doesn't make any sense. And he's talking about it, but it clearly looks like he's being sucked into this show's version of like the event horizon hellscape that he's going to, and the characters are not sure how to react to it. I don't find the characters' touching moments to be all that touching. Really, I don't feel there's a pathos here where I feel that the characters like Mariner and the captain getting along with each other is like, oh, that's a nice touching moment. It feels to me like it's almost a betrayal of the comedy aspect of the show that I would prefer. It's just like I don't know if this show has the heart at this point to really convince me that scenes like that are something worth building to across an entire plot line.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, do you think that's because they've done so? I mean, they're doing that stuff so quickly as opposed to taking some more time before they get to that stuff?
No, I think it's them trying to not stray too far from the Star Trek philosophy, which is that there has to be a glimmer of happiness in here somehow. And because the relationship is completely played for jokes between the captain and Mariner, they're resolving the problem feels a little bit artificial to me. Like it never feels like it. The tension between the characters is what feels natural to me in this show. So when they start to turn it around and say, oh, I can actually relate to you in some way, it feels forced and fake. It doesn't feel like these characters really feel this way. It's just that the way that they want to move the story. And then they always flip it at the end. I just don't think that the flip is not funny enough to justify the entire journey that you spend getting to that point. It's always just this little button at the end. And
sure.
I just prefer I would prefer the Seinfeld no hugging, no lessons approach to this, which is just a much darker playing around with ideas like the ascension thing, which I really liked and I really enjoyed that. And I even like the emulsion ship. I think that's kind of a cool idea that they don't do enough with. But I want more comedy to come from those areas and maybe less from pretending like these characters are actually people, you know?
Okay. Yeah, so just robots on the show is what you want?
Yeah, exactly. I want aluminum. I want marbles clanging around. More Rutherford.
More Rutherford, but only the robot side of his face.
Well, that's because I see criticism of the show where the characters are not acting in a way that is acceptable in a Star Trek universe, right? And in my opinion, the show exists outside of that Star Trek universe. So like you can't hold these characters to that standard. And because of that, I think that them learning a lesson together doesn't really feel like it's the appropriate angle to take with them because it just doesn't feel earned. It doesn't feel like it's a part of this universe and these characters to feel something that's like legitimate or positive in some way.
I don't think I would agree with that because I think up to this point, they've made it clear that there's a heart baked into the show. Because all the characters have had moments where they've had more heartwarming moments with each other from to varying degrees, and I think if you did this whole story with Mariner and Freeman and they just don't grow or they don't change, even if it's just to change back, then I think it's just going to be kind of boring and how far does that joke really get you?